Live mic.
It's dangerous.
Yeah. We had the Michigan Greens going earlier.
Michigan Greens.
It's like a guitar-y thing. Alright, I'm gonna get a little bit more coffee. I'll be right back.
Okay, sounds good. I got a new thing that I want to try out. Acoustic instrumental background. Here we go.
Sounds like there's actually a melody. Alrighty. What happened here? Bum, 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 bum.
Can I hear us?
Whoop.
Uh-oh. That was weird.
There we go. I need to do this. Now we're in stereo. Or we will be.
There's an
All right.
hour of this.
Of that?
It says acoustic instrumental background music for videos, and it's an hour long. So there might be different musics as
Sure.
part of it. but-
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, let me take a
Alright,
big
we're
old banner
turning
down
this
here.
down.
Welcome everybody.
How is everyone doing?
Welcome to the church chat.
This is what it is.
This is what it is.
Mhm.
How are you today?
Worst motto ever. This is what it is.
This is what it is. I'm like a demask now.
Mhm.
Welcome to church chat. How are you today? Watch here on the phone. Welcome everybody. Good morning.
Good
Sorry we
mornings.
had no chat last week, but we are back. So,
it is true.
how are you? What are you doing with your this pandemic
With
life,
your life.
here?
Yeah, what are you doing with your life? My dad always asked me that question. I don't know.
What are you doing with your life?
I'm just joking. My dad never asked me that question.
Are you saying your dad doesn't care? Is that what you're saying?
Well, perhaps. No. Let's see. Can we zoom in a little bit,
Yep.
maybe?
I
Okay,
was
good.
thinking we looked very small.
Very distant.
We are your community in the distance, in the
Mhm.
far distance.
Yeah, my hair's a bit of a mess this morning.
Mine too.
My stylist was really failing. Let me just-
Very good. So, yeah, what you got going on? What are you doing with your life? How's life going? How was your week this past week, or last 2 weeks, I guess, since we've...
It's been good. It's been
Good?
good. Last week I was the head of the parish while Father Ken was gone, and it didn't burn down.
It's true.
So, and a fire alarm did
And
not go
fire
off this
alarm
time.
didn't go
The last
off.
time he was gone, a fire alarm went
It
off during
did.
the 10 o'clock mass.
It did.
It was certainly less than ideal, but it was not caused by any actual fire or any smoke or anything of that sort of thing. It was caused by a mischievous little kid. So,
Yeah.
I never heard how all that got resolved.
Yeah. I don't know.
We probably should have punished the child more, but
Yeah. I
Mhm.
don't know.
oh well.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like a long time ago. That was February, because I was
It's
in
February, yeah.
Colombia,
That is true.
back when people could travel. And, yeah, Monsignor Mike was here that weekend.
That is true. It was during Monsignor Mike's mass too.
Mm-hmm. Welcome to Good Shepherd. Here is this. So,
Fire
yeah.
alarm.
And then just think, yeah, it's funny to think back, to like pre-COVID times, I think, or to like right as that was all getting started and
Right.
everything, and how
Mhm.
it was just weird.
It seemed like a dream.
It did.
Then was our mouth filled with laughter. On our lips there were songs.
Way
What
to
is
quote
it?
the Psalms there.
What can I
Very
say,
good.
huh?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So good.
Oh, pre-coronavirus time. If I forget you, let my right hand wither. Let my tongue cleave to my mouth.
Have you been reading anything interesting? Have you been doing anything interesting? You've been watching anything interesting?
Well,
I asked that to you, and I asked that to everybody who is tuning in today. Thanks so much for tuning in. We are your community in the distance.
Mm-hmm. Well, last night I was reading a book called Trinity and Aquinas, and so it is essentially a commentary on Thomas's different approaches to the Trinity in his various writings. So we were reading about the Summa Contra Gentiles, which is his work towards Gentiles, and by Gentiles he actually means Muslims during that time for the most part, because that was one of the major, the 12th century was one of the great times of dialogue between Christianity and Islam that people don't realize that. It was one of the great times of astute academia going between them, and unfortunately because of later things that occurred, much of that stopped, both in the Islamic religion and in the world. So but his writing at that point was essentially explaining Christianity for Muslims and those who are of that background. So
I didn't really realize that was the Summa Contra Gentiles. Was it for the
essentially, yeah,
Muslims mostly? And
there would have been other people to which it was directed, but that was its main thrust in a way.
Yeah.
So I found that fascinating.
Very good. Yeah.
And anything else I'm reading right now? I finished my my book on the gifts of the Holy Spirit. Finished that last week.
Good.
Exciting. I was going to close that up, and so now I'm looking for another book after this one. I've got a couple that I'm thinking about, but
I was doing a little bit of reading on Fatima. I don't know if anyone has seen that movie. If you've seen the movie, let me know. It's kind of neat to have it in the theaters, and there's not much in the theaters right now, so it's got a little bit more. Seems like it's got a little bit more attention than maybe a normal Christian movie would get. One of my friends saw it and said it was was kind of disappointed in it, but then I talked to someone else that was awesome. But someone said it kind of missed some of the major points. I don't remember exactly what he was saying were the major points, but anyway, I was doing some reading on the Fatima. I've been doing that School of Faith rosary. I do that not every day, but many days. And Mike Schurzlik, who usually leads the rosary, often talks about Fatima and the appearances there. And he's got I think his doctorate is in Mariology.
Oh, really? That's fascinating. Okay.
I think. And so he often talks about Fatima and the various appearances, but he often comes back to Fatima. But yeah. So anyway, I want to learn more about it, and just the way that Mary appeared to those three little children, and how interesting God works, and how our Blessed Mother works sometimes.
Yeah. Yesterday was the feast of Our Lady of Sorrows.
It was.
Or what is traditionally called the Seven Sorrows of Mary. And that's actually one of my favorite feast days in the year. I really enjoy Our Lady of Sorrows. I find the
tell
propers,
why.
Well, the propers are really beautiful. If you look the propers for the day and the propers, so the different parts of the Mass are very beautiful.
Okay.
And the breviary is very unique that day. We have a lot more antiphons than normal.
I guess I didn't notice.
Well, I mean, it had antiphons
special antiphons. Yes, it did
for the day, and you don't have that very frequently for memorials.
For memorial, right?
I just find them to be very beautiful. It's also the day on which I consecrate myself to Mary every year.
Oh, good.
So I always do the 33 days preparation before Our Lady of Sorrows, and then I reconsecrate myself to Blessed Virgin Mary every year on this day.
Very good.
It wasn't. I didn't choose this day initially. It just happened to work out in the calendar that year when I first consecrated myself to the Blessed Virgin, and then since then I've just kept that day.
It's good.
So it's always a special day for me in the year because of that.
Awesome. I love it. I did my consecration, and I haven't done the 33 days again. I should do that again. But I did that several years ago, and January 1st was when I did the consecration. I used that book, whatever, the 33 Days to Morning Glory, or whatever that is. So the Gately book.
Right.
Yeah, Our Lady of Sorrows. It is sorrowful because if I recall, I think that was the day that Jared and Maddie died, the seminarians.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't realize
From
that.
Our Lady of Sorrows. I'm pretty sure. Because I did a desert day that day, and there used to be a young adults group mass there at Holy Spirit that ran for several years. And so they had a Thursday. So there was a group, and they had a Thursday evening mass and dinner. Well, so I did all day prayer for my desert day. Came to the mass, hadn't heard the news, and almost didn't hear it before the mass, and almost gave a really bad homily and very inconsiderate, because I would have been talking about Our Lady of Sorrows in very abstract terms, and then this was something that really would hit the young adults, because it was one of a couple of their peers that used to be part of that group, and so I'm pretty sure that was Our Lady of Sorrows, but Jen says she saw it. Said, I presume the Fatima movie, not as spiritual as you would have liked, and Sebastian hated the hell part. Well,
I think you're not supposed to like the hell part.
I'd be a little bit concerned if he said, "Oh, that hell part, that was awesome. I want to learn more about that." That's yeah. I think that might be kind of the assessment of the other person. But someone came. One of our parishioners came in a little, I think a first communion veil to mass this on Sunday. I said, "Oh, you've got is this your 13th communion veil or whatever?" She said, "We just saw the Fatima movie, and she's all about the little girls, and so it was great." So it was
really?
neat. Yeah,
cool.
so,
I didn't notice.
Yeah. So she had her head covered, and so it was neat. So I think it's going to serve a great purpose, and I think it's a great introduction for those who don't know much about Fatima. And I don't know a whole lot about Fatima, really, so I need to do some more reading myself. That's why I was reading that book. So, I'm trying to learn more about it. But yeah, and then that miracle of the sun is a pretty unique miracle, it seems like, in the history of the church.
Yeah, certainly. Because not only believers saw it, but non-believers also saw it,
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
In a very public way.
Very good. So what else are you doing in your distance? What else are you keeping yourself going? And so it's great to have the kids back. Kids they're back in full swing. So last time it must have been the first week of school,
right?
And now we're in the throes. We're past Labor Day, and
we're getting to the normalcy in a certain way of the school year. Popping into different classrooms now, seeing them teach more. I mean, obviously they were teaching before, but now they were doing preparatory work, and now they're doing more of the class work. So it's fun to stop in, hear what the kids are saying, hear what they're thinking. I played last week tennis baseball with the 8th graders.
Yes,
one of the 8th grade classes, and it was a lot of fun. I got a home run at one. No, I didn't get a home run. Sorry. I almost got a home run at one point.
But they caught it, so it was out.
No. I ended up running in, but I think it was only a triple, but it was going to be, and then...
I see. The defense came through, huh?
What can I say?
Very good. That sounds like a lot of fun. I was gone last week. I had my retreat, so I was trying to get caught up. The retreat was really good. Christ Peace House of Prayer. And a lovely place. And if you're looking for somewhere to get away for a few days, I'd recommend Christ's Peace House of Prayer.
Christ Prayer House of Peace.
Christ of Peace. Peace of Christ.
Peace of Christ be with all of us in this house.
Peace of the house.
Be with Christ.
Yes, it does not roll off the tongue. But it's lovely. Although I did learn that's where you've heard about the place where the sun don't shine.
Oh, yeah.
It's Christ Peace House Prayer, because the sun doesn't shine there, apparently, because it was not at all there when I was there.
It was nice and cool last week. You know what happened on, I think, Monday afternoon, maybe Tuesday. I'd have to double check. Would anybody like to guess? Some of our long-term listeners might know.
For you, our long-term listeners, this one goes out to you.
We had the return of sweater weather.
Sweater weather!
And I was able to get my sweater out, and it was lovely. Have it just hold me. That's the best part of a sweater. It
just holds you nice and tight. So I sent a text to you, or what was it, on Monday, just checking in. And let's see here. Saying I just arrived, and he said, "Good, well, I hope you enjoy. I'm here if there's anything you need, but for your sake, I hope not to hear much from you." said, all right, fine, I won't text you. And then on Tuesday, it turned into real sweater weather, and I almost texted him back saying, sweater weather, but I promised not to text him again, so I didn't. So, but
He was very good and responsible with them.
and I was on retreat. So
Right.
very good. Well, before I get too far afield, let me do my thing here and say hi to, the folks. So, hello there, Rachel and Rosalie and Laura and Thomas. Hello. Hope you're having a good day. Rachel, how is kindergarten going? I can't believe you're in kindergarten. That's crazy. You might not have time to watch the show anymore because you're too busy doing your work. I know. So, but I hope that you're having a good kindergarten and a good day. But yeah, a lot more work to do now. But it's beautiful outside, so hopefully you'll get some recess, maybe, and maybe get some swing time or something, because it sure is lovely outside. So I hope you're having a great day, and I look forward to seeing you soon. And also hello to the Dryling girls, although I don't think you're watching either, because I just saw you. So anyway, have a great day, and there's my standard shout out. So back to the show. Hey, I did take we were talking about the retreat. I forgot that I put these in here, but there's a picture of the cabin. It's a lovely cabin there. And then the chapel is really beautiful. It looks right out onto the nature there. And then I think here is a picture of I think here is a video. Yep, the video works here. So I stayed in an old cabin here. And it was just a nice little place, a little desk there, and a nice had it been nice out, I would have sat out on the screened-in porch, but it was never nice enough to do that. So, alas, that didn't happen.
If you had brought maybe a couple of sweaters.
I brought sweaters. It was too cold for that.
You might be right. It was pretty chilly.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't awful, but it wasn't just sit out and it wasn't even sit out and drink tea or coffee weather. It was just this is kind of unpleasant.
Yeah, it was right there on the edge.
I've been a couple degrees warmer, or maybe not as rainy.
Yeah, you were right. Terry is asking if there are any good uplifting books to read. TV is depressing. One book that I have that might be interesting to people, I picked this up on Monday, is He Leadeth Me by Walter Chisek, who was a Jesuit who, well, I mean, this sounds depressing, but it's quite a beautiful book. He was a Jesuit who ended up being taken under custody by the Soviets for like 30 years, and he ended up being in prison for like 30 years. But he's got a beautiful book called He Leadeth Me, all about his spiritual experiences there. That could become one good book. I'm considering opening that up. When I was in third year of my college, I believe, every year during Lent at Conception, we would have silent lunches, and we would be read to. And so the monks would read something to us. And Father Xavier that year read With God in Russia, which is the full version of Walter Chisek's story. So I've had read to me With God in Russia, but I haven't read He Leadeth Me. He Leadeth Me is much more condensed, and it's essentially all the spiritual lessons that he learned during that time condensed into one book. So that could be something good for everybody to read, because you may think like you're in prison in coronavirus, but you aren't in a gulag in Russia. That's certainly true.
Count your blessings.
Yeah, but he was a Jesuit priest during that time who went into Russia to evangelize and to minister to the Christians who were under great persecution during that time. So he knew he was in a certain way, he was in great danger by even doing that work. And so it was beautiful to see the transformation that occurred. So
yeah.
There's one good book.
Yeah.
That comes up.
I think I'd mentioned the 5 Loaves and 2 Fish, which I finished. That's a tiny little book. Similarly, the Vietnamese bishop who was in prison forever, for a long time, and his experiences there too, and the way he was ministering to his captors. It's a lovely book. And again, what should be depressing is really uplifting. So that was really good. So I finished that.
We Christians have a way of doing that.
It's true. It's true. And then we were talking about Brant Petrie. I discovered, because I was doing some, on my retreat, I was doing some of my research for the prophets Bible studies that I'm doing. I'm doing Isaiah and Jeremiah and probably Ezekiel, although I haven't really started Ezekiel yet. But I'm glad that I had that retreat time to do some reading and studying, because those are some in-depth, that requires some in-depth study to do to do a Bible study on those. But anyway, he has one on the Old Testament, but that's a little more of a scholarly thing. But the Case for Christ, I think, is very uplifting, and it's
The Case for Jesus.
Case for Jesus, right? That Case for Christ is another author.
Yeah.
Case for Jesus by Brant Petrie.
His name is spelled Pitre. Brant Petrie. And any of his books are brilliant. He's got one on the Jewish roots of the Eucharist. He's got one on the Jewish roots of Blessed Virgin Mary. And if you can find a book with Brant Petrie's name on it, I highly suggest it. He's a very approachable author, but he's also incredibly scholarly too. So
is he a convert?
I don't know.
Okay. I don't remember either.
But he writes often under Scott Hahn's book publishing company, Emmaus Press.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's in a similar vein to Scott Hahn.
I think he's better than Scott Hahn.
I think he's better than Scott Hahn too.
No, Scott Hahn's not bad. But there's something about Brant Petrie's writing in particular that I think is unique, really.
Yes, I agree. Scott Hahn, I think he's great. He can sometimes feel a little bit like he's talking down a little bit, or he has those silly puns or whatever that he has in the things where there's less of that with Brant Petrie. So,
but I believe Brant Petrie lived in Scott Hahn's basement for a while.
Really?
I believe so.
Interesting.
So they're very highly related.
Right. Well, and for that matter, I'd probably recommend just about anything by Scott Hahn too.
Absolutely.
So they're pretty. And then if you're looking for Catholic videos too, I think anything by Ascension Press basically is
very good.
Is solid. I mean, print and they also do like YouTube videos, and they did the Great Adventure Bible study,
which is very good. That is done by Jeff Cavins. He's another very good scholar. Jeff Cavins is.
Yep. So. Yeah.
If you're looking for a great read, one of my favorite books is The Brothers Karamazov, Totally Different Vein, by Fyodor Dostoevsky. One of my favorite books. It's quite a big break, but if you're trying to get away from TV, it's a way to do it. Just dive into The Brothers K. It will take you a long time, but it's a great read. It's really one of my favorite books.
And then, and I'm what is it?
And I'm Dunice. Yeah.
So one of the 5th grade teachers let me borrow a summer reading book, which I hadn't really got to, but I was doing a little bit of reading.
I was wondering why that was on the couch.
Yeah.
I could not figure out.
It's called The True Confessions of Charlotte Doyle by Avi, I think.
Okay. That makes so much more sense.
Yeah. So yeah, one of the 5th grade teachers let me borrow it, and she says this is one of my favorite books. It's really great, and I've been enjoying it. And my mom, I think she's watching it. She had mentioned that Avi, A-V-I, is just a really good author for younger adults, younger audiences.
Did you ever play Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time?
I did not, but I hear that's the best ever.
Right.
Zelda.
So my brother played it a lot, and I played a little bit. I wasn't really a video game kid, but my twin brother and my little brother really liked it. I believe the little fairy that followed Link around's name was Avi.
Oh.
So I wonder if she wrote that book too.
I don't know. No, I missed that one because I did not have a Nintendo 64. So we had the first Nintendo, the 8-bit. Then sometimes back in the day, you were able to rent
whole
consoles.
Yeah.
And you get some games with it. So sometimes my brother and I would rent like a Super Nintendo for the weekend or something and play some of the Super Nintendo games, or maybe we even borrowed someone's console, because I did play some of the Super Nintendo Zelda, but Zelda's games are the best.
Yeah,
right?
they're considered some of the best written games, best designed.
Yeah.
I believe Ocarina of Time is the only one to have ever gotten a perfect score.
Something like that is
IGN, which is like probably the International Gaming Network or something like that. I
right.
don't know. I don't really play video games, like I said, but
well, I play video games when I exercise.
Right.
And so I have a GameCube, a Nintendo GameCube, and then I have an
you can
Xbox,
get Wind Waker on that.
which I played.
Oh, you've played Wind Waker,
So,
okay.
which is great, and the other one, which is the one he turns into a wolf.
Did that come out on GameCube? I didn't
It
realize
did.
that.
Yeah,
Okay,
well, it was Wii and GameCube, which is interesting also because I didn't realize that Zelda is left-handed. Did you know that?
No.
Or Link is rather Link is
Link
left-handed.
Yeah, I knew what you meant. What is that called?
The
Twilight.
good job,
Twilight Princess?
I think.
Twilight
Good,
Princess?
way to
Okay.
go. Way to dig into
here we
your.
are. My 12-year-old mind right there.
However, I have noticed, as much as I enjoy the Zelda games, I don't get a very good workout from them.
Probably not. Yeah.
I get a better work because there's too much kind of
Walking. There's a lot of walking in the games.
precise work that
Right.
you have to be like directly facing this way to do the sword to this person or whatever.
Yeah.
So like Madden, I get a much better workout, and then so I also have an Xbox 360 because I've had that GameCube. I got that in like 2009 or something like that, and I
Okay.
kind of played out all the games. Like I need a new system, so then I got Xbox 360 again. It got used, and I've played out most of those games too. But so
Yeah.
but I've learned that there's certain games that I get a good workout with, and certain I don't. And unfortunately, as much as I'd like to play those Zelda games, I can't justify it really because I don't get a good workout with it, which is the whole reason I play them. So
Yep, understandable.
um,
And I can't tell you the last time. Oh, I know the last time actually when I went on vacation with a couple of priest friends, I played a little bit of Super Mario World with one priest. His sister let us borrow her Super Nintendo Mini, which they put out a couple years ago.
yes.
And we played the heck out of that Super Mario World.
Well,
Because that was my game growing up, because we had a Super Nintendo.
okay.
And that was basically all I've ever played. I didn't play too much of the new games. I just played the old stuff.
Uh-huh. Well,
I've always been a bit of a hipster.
very good. Well, I've thought about because they have those little things, and my brain does not do very well the 3-dimensional thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I mean, the young kids today, they can do it really well, but I like the side-scrolling. And there's actually a lot of the games coming out now that do more of the side-scrolling.
Oh, interesting.
Like some indie developers or whatever. Because I was looking at when I get one of those, what do you call them? The Switches, again, because for exercise purposes. And they got some side-scrollers, but I was not convinced that I would get a good workout with them, so I have not.
Makes
so.
sense. Well,
so yeah, who thought we would be talking about video games?
yeah, I think
here
this is the
today?
first time we ever have
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the chat.
That-
Because I really don't play video games. This is something I've seen more of my friends do than I myself.
Uh-huh. And again, I think
I was more, if it shocks you, I was more of a reader. growing up.
what
I know.
you read books.
I know. So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I enjoy some of those video games, but that's why I use that exercise as kind of my carrot. Is I can't play them unless I'm exercising. So
makes sense.
that that keeps things under control. So I don't just sit around all day playing video games. You know. So. Yeah. And then I got into in seminary a bit. I got into those like the civilization games.
Oh, yeah.
And that was really fun because I mean I know this sounds so silly now, but it was a big deal back in the day where I was in one room and he was in the other room, and we were on we played.
Yeah, using
on
Ethernet
the-
cables.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we were playing the same game in different rooms. I was like, what?
Is
How
that
is that
even
possible?
possible?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so exciting. But yeah.
Mhm.
But I like that kind of.
Now we can do that in the same room, not making ever eye contact with each other.
That's right.
Mhm.
Playing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But,
How technology progresses.
Yes, or
Mhm.
regresses or whatever. Or
Mhm.
societies. The Pilgrim's Regress, isn't that the C.S. Lewis book?
Oh, really?
I think so.
I didn't know that. That's great. I haven't
Yeah.
read that. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
C.S. Lewis is also another great writer. If
That's
you're
true.
looking for other books, everything by C.S. Lewis is very good.
Yep.
I know the Abolition of Man is one of my favorites of his. Mere Christianity, a lot of people like. I enjoy it, but I haven't really found it as earth-shattering as some people have. I've never read any of his Paralandra or his Space Trilogy books, but I hear they're very good, and those are fiction. So if
Mhm.
you're looking for some
I read
fiction,
those years ago.
Okay, I've heard those are very good. His book on suffering is very good.
Yep.
What is it called? A Grief Observed.
Maybe.
Yes, that's what it's called. Then you have Screw Tape Letters, which is a wonderful book. One of my favorites of his is the Great Divorce. That's a fantastic book.
Fantastic. It has nothing to do with divorce. I think
Nope.
we've talked about this on the show before.
Maybe, yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
so.
It's
Mhm.
about
It's an allegorical telling of death, purgatory, and heaven.
Yep. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think was, again, that's a play on another. Mom, you could probably tell me what that was a play on another book title.
Oh, I didn't
It
know that.
was.
The Terrible Divorce.
No, it was like something about the Great Wedding or something like that, or the Great Marriage.
Oh, okay.
Marriage of
Mhm.
Heaven and Earth, or I don't know. Mom, you can tell me what that title is, but like Pilgrim's Regress was a play on Pilgrim's Progress. That one was also
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
play on another word.
Didn't realize
Mhm.
that. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then of course the Narnia ones.
Yeah, of course, Narnia.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If you have never read Narnia,
It's worth it.
it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
They're quick reads. I have read them at
They're
least.
at like a fifth grade reading
Yeah.
level too. So there's
Only they're right at my level. Like the True Confessions of Charlotte Doyle. They're great. One of our parishioners is reading them right now, actually.
who's that? Oh, sorry.
What's that?
No, never mind.
Well, but I'll let him post in there if he wants to. But he mentioned that he's reading them, and
The Marriage of Heaven and Hell. I wonder who that's by.
maybe Mom will tell me.
That's what. Yeah.
Marriage of Heaven and Hell, and then the Great Divorce.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, you see the book on the shelf called The Great Divorce. I'm like, I don't want to read about a great divorce, you know.
Right.
So it's unfortunate that
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it
that
sounds like
title.
a 1920s book. At the height of the height of the moral digression of the 20s in a certain
Sure,
way. Yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm.
But the Narnia books are great, and yeah, if you've never read them, they are great for all ages. I've read them at least 4 times.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And they just hit you differently at different points in your life. So
Interesting.
it's like, oh, I didn't catch that last time I read that. It's kind of like the cycle that we have in the liturgical
Lectionary.
style.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that I swear there are times that it comes up in the cycle. Like, I have never heard that before.
Mm-hmm.
That occasionally happens. Like, that's in the Bible. How have I never heard this before? Because I just didn't resonate, and
Right.
then it hits me at this time 3
Mhm.
years later. It gets me. So, but there are that happens to me several times. Like, I never even heard that. Well, I have. I just wasn't ready for
You
it.
haven't heard it like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the Narnia is like that too. It's like, wow, that was there this whole time and I missed it. Oh, brilliant. So, Lord of the Rings might be somewhat like that too. That
Yeah, certainly. Mm-hmm.
you read it several times and I was like, I didn't even see that the first time.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Didn't have that effect on me either.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Finally, I get why there are all these songs in it.
Why are they having the 7th breakfast?
Mm-hmm.
What are they doing? All right, well,
I guess that's today.
I think that's
Oh my.
that's
Bad
today.
phone. What are you doing? Bad phone.
Well, thanks so much for tuning in. I think we're planning on being here next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Mhm.
So thanks for watching, And again, if you have any questions for us or feedback or anything, just let us know, and we'll try to put that in the show. I'll put out the. I didn't have a news brief last week. I just decided I wasn't going to do it. So because I came back from the retreat and I was disconnected anyway, and wasn't ready to get all connected again. So I plan to do a news brief landing this Friday, and then also the concert is Friday. Shepherds of Faith, I think it is this Friday. I don't remember. But it was really fun this past Sunday. And
what was the name of the group last time?
The Sunrise Servants.
Oh, okay. I was curious if all of our musicians groups had a pun on shepherd or not. No.
But yes, a lot of them
yeah.
do. Shepherds of Hope, Shepherds of Faith, the crook of the the crook of the choir.
A Baw of Joy. That'd be great. Baws of Joy. That'd be great.
Fields
Shears.
of the green. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for tuning in. I guess you've done enough damage.
Have a wonderful week. Give out a great Baw of Joy.